Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite, they finally just decided to acknowledge reality, and they decided to put the game off to 2021. Um, and they cite COVID-related impacts and that it's hard for them to work from home. And yeah, I mean, I talked about this last week, and I kind of gave my spiel on it that it's better to wait. What's that famous saying from that Japanese developer?
It was Shigeru
Yeah,
Miyamoto,
what did he say?
and he said, "What's it called? A late game is it's only bad for that interim until like it comes out, and then it can be
Yeah.
good. But a game that comes out late can be good, but a game that's bad that comes out is bad forever.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I apologize for butchering it,
Yeah.
but that's a
No,
sentiment.
that is the sentiment. So, what do you think about all this? Do you think it's a wise move for them to just wait?
Oh hell yeah! We talked about it a couple of weeks ago after the Xbox experience, whatever the Xbox Game
Yeah.
Showcase, and we all harped on Halo Infinite and the fact that it looked kind of last gen. It
Yeah.
didn't look anywhere near the showcase that it should be,
Yes.
especially for a launch title for the Xbox Series X. And it's unfortunate that they're going to be missing that
Hmm.
window, but this is their opportunity. They really need to step it up
Yes.
and make sell us on this game. Make it the game that we all kind of want it to be and that it needs to be. The
Yeah.
showcase and the system seller.
Yes. Yeah. Um, so yeah, they have a gargantuan task in front of them. Now,
I mean, I don't even think years is possible.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know
It
either.
is especially in this climate where they have to all work from home or however, like remotely.
Yeah. And as far as I know, the way that they're developing this game is they have the single player open world aspect, and then they have the, you know, super high speed multiplayer aspect. And I know the graphic quality fidelity is going to be different on both. Um,
They never even showed us
they
multiplayer.
didn't. They didn't. Now, one interesting thing that I read during the week was before they decided to delay the game, they were floating the idea of shipping it in multiple parts. So they would release, I guess, the multiplayer or the single player first, and then they would release the multiplayer second. But as you and me know, because we've been around a while, that is a horrible idea, and it usually always backfires.
And this is one of the predominant problems that I foresee with games coming out as a service or games coming out on these streaming sites or streaming services like xCloud
Yeah,
is that I think that will be the predominant way of how to market a game or sell a game is that like you're releasing quote unquote a beta build of the
hmm,
game and you're letting players play it, and as people are playing it and giving feedback, then it becomes a living thing that the developers consistently tweak,
yeah,
and it's never really a complete game.
no,
uh, so I see that coming along with big titles like this, and I don't like it.
yeah.
I don't like it. There's people that are okay with it, but I'm not one of those people, and that's why I speak against it.
Now I'm okay with it in one condition, and that condition is that it's a free to play game. If it's a free to play game, then I don't mind it being a game as a service because it's free. You can just play it for free, right? Nobody has to invest some money up front. You play it, you don't like it, you can move on. There's very little risk for the player.
That definition of free to play game is changing with the xCloud service because you're
Mm.
not paying for each game, you're paying for the service,
Yeah,
and then
no,
you
no.
get each game.
I'm talking about 100% free to play games. That's the only time that I don't. So, like, for example, like a game you could just download their client and play it free. You don't need a service or anything like that. That's the only time that it doesn't bother me. But but
Mm,
but like you said, you're already invested on a service. You're already paying a monthly fee for a service. So to me,
yes.
that's not free to play. That's not free to play to me because you're already paying a monthly service. So
And they don't see it that way. They'll see it like, okay, well, I mean, while you're waiting for this game or whatever game, there are other games you can play
yeah,
because as a service, we've got all these titles available to you at any given moment. So as a service, just because we're disappointing you in one game doesn't mean that we can't fill in that gap with the multitude of other games that we have available to you.
yes, yeah. But as we've seen with games like No Man's Sky, once you burn the player base, there it's very hard to come back. It's so hard to
That's a
come back.
really great example. That's a really great example
Yeah,
because that's kind of like the same type of situation. Although in No Man's Sky case, there was that upfront charge, like you had to pay for the base game initially, but that game has constantly been changing and morphing in ways that even though it did burn the initial player base, it
yeah,
has accrued its own player base, and it is arguably a lot of people have been saying, or at least the chatter that I've heard, has been positive for that game
yeah,
and the changes that they've implemented.
yeah,
So much so it's still talked about today. I mean, how long did it come out? In 2017, I
yeah.
believe.
But they lost
And so
they lost that initial wave that they burned. That's the problem.
yes,
And that's usually the
yes,
biggest wave for a game because they build up the hype for the launch, right? Um, yeah.
yes.
So yeah, it is what it
But
is.
what's to stop any kind of developer from following those footsteps where they're like, we can release this initially and it might not hit, but it'll get better. And I mean, that's kind of like the idea behind Fallout 76.
Oh yeah,
Fallout 76
that was a dumpster
was a
fire.
complete but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean that's along the same lines as games as a service, and we're just going to keep releasing content and updating it, and hopefully it'll get better. And
yeah,
then the word of mouth will spread, and it'll sell.
yeah.
Uh, I don't like that future of
No,
gaming, but we'll see what happens, and I hope Halo Infinite can really pick up the pieces.
yeah, yeah. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you all next time.